Hey guys, you're watching the Best Practices Show, where we take a look at the best business practices from the best dental practices all over the country. We've got a very special edition. This entire week we are out at the Seattle Study Club Symposium here in Palm Springs at the LaQuinta. It is gorgeous, and I've got some incredible experts that you're going to meet in just a second. So do me a favor, just hold tight. We'll see you in a few seconds. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Very, very special week for us as we're out at the Seattle Study Club Symposium. It's the 25th anniversary, some of the best clinicians in the world. And if you haven't been to Symposium, I'm just telling you, you gotta go. It is hands down, without question,
no doubt,
the best CE event of all time. And I'm gonna have these guys describe why. So I got three very special friends and guests today, speakers as well as experts within Symposium. And so today I just want to talk about Symposium, your experiences here. Josh, you had a chance to speak on the big stage. Brian, you've been on the big stage, and Rob, you've been on. So just tell us who you guys are, a little bit of background, and tell us your thoughts on Symposium.
My name is Joshua Austin. I practice in San Antonio, Texas. I'm in this guy's study club, the Alamo Collaborative Dental Forum, which he runs very adroitly, and it's a great deal. But you know, we're a chapter of the Seattle Study Club, so Symposium is a part of that, and you know, this is probably my fifth symposium that I've been to, and there's no event that has better education, better events, just all the details are right here. The bag is special that you get, you know, the sweatshirt is special that you get. Everything is designed. It's almost as if, you know, there's some grand, you know, scheme, and there's some grand captain who's leading it. Oh, there is. I'm sorry, I forgot.
There is
someone who executes this, who has a vision to have this great study or this great symposium and puts it together, right? And he puts his plans into action. I think that's amazing, and it's everything from dentistry to health and wellness to inspirational and everything in between, and it's fun. It's what I look forward to every year.
It is. It's an incredible meeting. I'm Brian Schroder. I'm a general dentist in San Antonio, Texas, and as Josh said, I'm the director of the Alamo Collaborative Dental Forum. I like this whole concept so much that as a general dentist, I actually took over directorship of a club, and it's a very, very special concept. It is a concept that's based on excellence. It's based on relationships. It's based on friendships. You come to meetings like this, and every year you get to catch up with people that you haven't seen, and unless you happen to bump into them in Minnesota on the road when you're teaching programs.
Lecturing right next to each other.
Lecturing right next to each other, next door to each other. But in any event, I think the thing that's special about Symposium to me is obviously the phenomenal clinical education, but I got to tell you something, that one of the things that's really stood out to me in my experiences here has been the non-clinical education. I already talked about the relationships, but there's usually an amazing group of people in a program that's non-clinical, which I think is so unbelievably important for us as dentists. I mean, we focus so much on the clinical discipline of dentistry, and the reality is that, gosh, I needed so much help in the non-clinical part of the game, and I think all of us can benefit from it. And that's the versatility of this programming here at Seattle Study Club Symposium is second to none. And so if you want it, you can find it. If there's a teacher that you need, they're here. So anyway.
That's a great point. I'm Rob Ritter. I'm from Jupiter, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. I'm a general dentist. I've actually been part of two Seattle Study Clubs for 15 years. Steve Reimer's club, the Deal Club down in Boca Raton, Wales Club, Seaside Study Club up in Jupiter. And I've been coming for 10 years like you. I think I met you 10 years ago at this meeting. Yeah. I'd even met you 10 years ago.
Yeah, didn't we decide that we were on Speaker Showcase together,
the
three of us?
Showcase,
all the same year.
Except I was probably the lowest ranked speaker
That's not
that
true.
day.
That's not true. You're pretty good.
No.
But everything that you said is absolutely correct. I think for me, you know, we all come into dentistry thinking that it's all about the execution of prep, impress, temporize, extraction, implant placement. And what I've realized later on in your career is that if you talk about acquisition, conversion, execution, we all focus on that last part. Where can you get that acquisition conversion phase, right? the business acumen, the skills needed to run a successful practice in a challenging environment, especially today.
Yeah.
And this provides this to you. Michael and Suzanne have done an incredible job putting all those pieces together. We've gone to so many meetings before in the last 10, 15 years, right? Some of them are really well done, but they don't have all the components that this meeting has. That from the accessibility to all the clinicians here, to all the business people that are at your disposal, as well as the so-called Sherpas, people who actually put it together and make it run here. Whatever you want can be done for you here. It's like going on a cruise.
Yeah.
Right? It's like going on a cruise, right?
Yeah.
If they do everything for you on a cruise, that's how I feel when I come to one of these. They do everything for you. They think of everything from A to B to Z, right? It's all done for you.
One of the things, I'm sorry, Rob.
No.
I think one of the things
awesome.
that's cool about the Seattle Study Club in general, but the Symposium especially, is the willingness to share information.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no place where you can go and listen to the most skilled, most knowledgeable people in the industry and hear everything that they have to say to you, and without any sort of agenda. There's nothing but a free exchange of information amongst everybody. Nobody's judged. There's no competition. It's just basically for the true sake of learning and being better.
Yeah.
It's absolutely correct within their specific discipline as
Correct.
well.
Right.
So if you want to know something about that one procedure or that one idea, that person is usually at this symposium.
Yeah.
So you can go right to the source,
Yeah.
ask them right to their face what the question is, and they will spend time over a drink explaining it to you. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys. You guys are all dentists, and speak to the fact that being a dentist owning your own practice, it can be lonely, right? And so it's very important to surround yourself, put yourself in a community of people that think really well.
I'm not lonely.
Well, you're not lonely because you have a partner. You've got a great partner. We're running a business. And here you can come and you can think well, you know?
Right, yeah, you get to see the people that you interact with, and Rob and I talk all the time.
Yeah.
But when we get to Symposium, it's different. We're together. It's just the interaction, the collaboration is just by far in a way the best of any dental meeting. Every other dental meeting, it seems like a lot of us are working, we're doing a bunch of lectures, whatever, and here we get to come and hang out a little bit, and even if we're speaking, it's like 18 minutes or whatever, and then you're done. They're not killing you going to a bunch of different sessions that you got to do all days and half days and all that stuff. And we get to enjoy it. We get to enjoy ourselves and collaborate.
Well, let me speak to Kirk's point just a little bit. I mean, as a general dentist, and I didn't get this Seattle Study Club sort of medicine or idea right early on. I mean, I came to it later in my career. And you mentioned, we're business owners, and the solo private practice of dentistry can be incredibly lonely. And it can lead you down the path of feeling like, if I don't do it myself, then I don't diagnose it, I don't treatment plan it, and as a consequence, it doesn't get done. And so, after doing that for a whole bunch of years, that's why I'm even here. That's the reason that I have been successful teaching. It's what I talk about when I go and teach, is the fact that collaboration is key. Outcomes are improved significantly by involving other people. There's never a time that you don't take a case to someone and you show it to them that your case treatment plan is exactly the same as what you brought in. So there's this element of, as I said, sharing that works incredibly well to make you better, but most importantly to make you feel a part of a family, a part of a group. And I guess truly above that is it makes outcomes for patients so much better. I mean, we think that we are really good at what we do and what we're doing, and the reality is that we can always improve, and this is a place where we can do that.
Well, expand on that too, because I want to know your thoughts. Dr. Michael Cohen, who was brilliant and started this whole thing, he knew that the success or failure of this happened at the cellular level. So it wasn't necessarily an instructor. Obviously, there's got to be a leader of the club, but really the magic happens with what you say. I mean, you connect with so many other clinicians, and everybody is here to help, which is amazing. It's incredible.
Well, I've always believed in the philosophy that he set, which is to utilize your specialists as well.
Right.
I mean, the full disclosure to everybody, I don't do a lot of different types of disciplines of dentistry. I haven't taken a tooth out in 20-something years. I haven't done endo in 20-something years. I don't place implants. There's so much orthodontics I don't do. I don't see children. My wife sees children. So the collaboration, working amongst all of the specialists and getting everybody involved on these cases, which some of them are challenging, as we know.
Right.
And it's not just the physical ability, it's also having to deal with the challenges of the patient.
Yeah.
I need that interaction between all my specialists. That's the beauty of what the Seattle Study Club brings.
Yeah.
Each one of these, the relationships,
Yeah.
right?
So
And the
important.
collaboration.
And I'm a general practice residency trained guy. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm a little bit on the abnormal side as far as what I do. I do a lot of things in dentistry And I early on in my career, I thought, well, I do all of this stuff. I'm trained to do it. I can do it all by myself, right? And the fact of the matter is, I tried hard to do that, and I failed miserably at it. And it was a humbling experience to realize that I had failed miserably at it. So the drive to try to do everything and to be the master dentist and not include anybody else in your life as far as treatment planning and stuff is concerned does not really. That day's got to be gone.
There may have been a day at some point in the past where that worked.
Just
I think it's so much more complex now.
That's where the loneliness comes from too.
Absolutely. Now add that component to what
right
dentists you think dentists are going to see, because you're a young dentist on the right path, and we're all at different stages. Tell us what you think the future is going to look like and how this is so important.
I noticed how you looked at Rob. You said you looked at him.
Young dentist, he goes,
You started saying it's Rob, and then at some point you're
You gotta be careful about how you say this. You're a young guy. I'm mature. You're mature.
Maturing. You have no hair, and I have all gray hair.
Hey, why do you pull a hair thing?
What's up with that? I mean,
he's got good hair. You probably put gel in your hair.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
absolutely.
that is not
Rob
fair.
spends a lot of money on hair product.
I've been very lucky with my hair. I get made fun of a lot for my hair
How
because
did we
I have
get
never put a drop of dye in my hair before, which is unusual for somebody my age,
sure,
right?
right.
So I can fool you into thinking, because that's right, I let him down the path. Of,
Yeah.
oh, he's
And then
not
the mask started
really.
working on his head.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's just that
yeah,
I've got a
yeah.
good look. I gave my grandfather all the props, right? He was the one that gave me the genes for the hair. Great genes.
Let me
Great
tell
genes.
you, I don't care what hair color it is. I care that I have it.
That's right.
There you go.
Oh.
So as long as we're on the subject of hair, let's go back to the question.
let's get back to
The question was
Practice
how
models.
important, the practice model in the future. Everybody's so quick to predict what the future is going to look like, but you guys are on the inside. You get to see the best. These are the best clinicians in the world. What do you expect the future to look like, and why is this so important?
The future is group practice. I mean, there's just no way that a solo practitioner like myself could be able to afford all the things that you need to be able to appropriately treat patients nowadays. You can't have a scanner and a CBCT and the implant placement kit and the endo microscope. You just can't have all those things. And also the real estate involved, the overhead involved as far as payroll and things like that. Whereas if we collaborate, team up together into some sort of group practice model that I don't even think anybody's really figured out yet what it's going to be, but we're working on it. I mean, it's going to happen, but it's going to be a group practice of some sort, a multi-specialty group practice, right? And having ortho and endo and OMS and perio that's involved in the practice and some sort of miniaturized dental hospital where multiple GPs work and all that. That's the model, and it works with what people want.
You're right. Keep going. It's shared intelligence, sharing overhead, shared experiences, right? So having all those people underneath one roof, the collaboration part of it, right, as well as the financial aspect of it, is the way it's going. I know somebody south of me about 35 minutes that is doing it and doing it very, very well.
Yeah.
Craig Spodak?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got 19 operatories or
yeah,
whatever.
and he's doing exactly what we're saying. That is the business model of the future. That's where it's going. Now, whether that's also a component of more of a DSO organization, not quite sure. Yeah. But I think if you want to insulate yourself from a DSO, whether that's good or bad, I'm not here to comment on that, you could build that type of facility with that structure and maybe avoid going the group route if there's a shared
corporately
mutual risk.
Group, right?
Corporately owned, that's correct.
Yeah. But nonetheless, we're all going to have to think differently about the future and the caliber of thinking that happens in a meeting like this. You can still collaborate without having to be a partner. I mean, you have a partner, but we have partners. It's a great way to look at relationships in the future, to be experts in our own fields.
And let me speak to the collaboration thing just a little bit, because I've had the privilege of talking for about 70 study clubs around the United States, and obviously most of them are general dentists, and one of the things that strikes me as necessary is for we as a general dentistry community to accept the responsibility and take accountability for the need to work collaboratively.
Right.
Okay. And that's what the epiphany that came to me was. I wasn't accepting that responsibility. I wasn't making it happen. But the fact of the matter is, we as practitioners of general dentistry have the accountability, have the responsibility to make sure that we seek out the mentors that we need. We need to seek out the study club. When we get in the study club environment, take advantage of the people, take advantage of the resources that you have available to you, because they're vast.
Right.
They're so much bigger than what your world could be if you just were like me, kind of trying to do everything all by yourself.
Right. Now expand on that too, because the landscape has changed. When you and I got started in the business, and there were there were terms like preceptorships. You had mentorships, and now it's a little bit harder to come by. When it's so great, you can come to a meeting like this. You got mentors everywhere. I mean, everywhere you turn, at the restaurant, at the bar, at the courses in the morning. I mean, they're everywhere around you.
Well, is that because this is a big point for me? Because when I moved to my town, there was no such thing, right? And in fact, it was a pretty a little anticlimactic for me when I finally moved back to my town where I grew up, because they were not warm and welcoming. They weren't. And the days of what I heard of exactly what you said, preceptorships, mentorships, people that would actually help out young dentists, they were already gone by the time I came to town. This allows for that, right? So you can come here and if anybody walked up to any of us, said, would you help me out? What would we all say? In a heartbeat, we say, right?
Totally.
But now the question is it because we know they're not in our own backyard, number one, or, and I don't think so, I think it's because of what has been fostered here over the last 25 years.
Right.
You go from the mentality of scarcity to plenty, right? You go from being, a taker to a giver. Abundance, right? That's what it becomes.
Right. And so, Josh, you're a young guy. We've already established that.
With good hair.
With good hair. But what's, your peers in the game, what's the obstacle to, what is the obstacle to becoming a member of a Seattle Study Club? I mean, I hear that it's the money that it costs for tuition, but I just I can't buy the fact that you can get 30 hours of continuing education that's unbelievably high quality without going anywhere. You get fed well. You got really good people around you,
and it averages the biggest names.
And it probably averages about $50 to $70 an hour. I mean, it just the argument just doesn't hold water.
The barrier to me is not the money. I think it's the time. Competing for the time. And people my age, I don't have kids, but people my age do have kids, right? And so that's, I think that's part of it. Now, I think part of that's an excuse that gets milked a little bit more than it should, because my dad was a dentist, and Thursday nights were study club nights. And my dad was a nathologist and doing nathology study clubs, right? And fully articulating, fully adjustable articulators and full wax ups and all that kind of stuff. But it was like, okay, we don't bug Dad on Thursday night.
Right.
And so I think times have changed a little bit, and people feel, and not that this is a bad thing, but the need to be present with their kids all the time or whatever. But I think it gets used as a crutch to not get involved.
So I want to follow up with that. So, okay, since you did that, my dad was not a dentist. My dad was a silk screen printer, right? Blue-collar guy who did everything he could to put me through school. Okay. So the question is now, because I see it in young families as well, they have that guilt about not being there every second of the day.
Right.
Didn't seem to hurt you at all.
No,
you still went to college. You still went to dental school, and you still became successful. So they need to get over that.
You've got a 12-year-old, 13-year-old?
Almost 14 now.
Almost 14.
Going to the fair this Saturday with her first boyfriend.
Oh, no.
So guess who else is going to the fair?
My wife. I'm here. Right? Okay,
really?
so go
So
ahead.
do you feel bad about being here and missing this experience for your daughter?
So people just ask, I was just talking to Vince about this. And I said, do I have a little bit of guilt about being here? And your kids are all grown up out of the house. You got grandkids.
Yeah.
Do I have a little bit of guilt? When I think about them, I miss them. Yeah. Would I call it guilt? I don't know if I would call it guilt. I'd say I'm in the moment when I'm home, and I'm in the moment here with my friends and my comrades and the people who do what I do. Do I feel as guilty about it when we bring it up? Yeah, of course I feel a little guiltier, but right when we're done with this interview, I'm not going to think about it.
But you're also here for her. Because what you learn here helps you provide a better life.
And I'm trying to also set an example, because right now my daughter says that she wants to be a dentist, right? So, and I've taken her to the AED meetings in the summer, and I bring her to this and I bring her to that. She sees what dentistry can be, right outside of the four walls of a typical practice. I want her to see that because I want her to aspire to that. I can't give her everything in the world. She's got to do some stuff on her own, right?
Right? What a novel idea.
We're talking about...
I just want you to know that I'm here because it's snowing in San Antonio. That's the whole reason I'm here.
There you go.
And to hang with these guys.
And that's the best part. But you're right, and that's what it really comes down to, right? I mean, I'm trying to provide obviously a better life for my family, a direction and a purpose for my daughter. And for me, this kind of fills my tank, right?
Yeah.
Look, we've known each other, we're all good friends. And so I enjoy our company, I enjoy cutting up, I enjoy learning. I guarantee when I walk out of here this week, I will learn something from you, and you, amongst everybody else, that I can't wait to go back to my practice and implement to make it better, more fun, more profitable.
This meeting, in the time we've been talking, two of the world's composite experts have walked by. Marcos Vargas,
Really?
who is like a master.
Neither of whom is on this telecast.
And Bob Marks just walked by, and I'm looking right now at Christian Coachman.
We're getting him next.
He's 15 over there. There's no one. There's not
Kyle
a bigger
Stanley
name.
with the lift.
I mean,
with
it's
the lip lift.
this place is it's
I think
like
they're doing
an all-star
He's
game.
doing an exam in the chair. Look at that.
It's like the NBA All-Star.
Man.
It is really like the NBA All-Star.
Yeah.
It is. Well, first of all, this is a set appointment. It comes at a great time of the year, right in the middle of January, towards the end of January.
Actually, it's the worst time of year.
It's
Can I bring that point up?
It's a tough
It's
time
the
of year.
worst time of year for me.
Why
For
is
you,
that?
because the weather's great where you're at.
Because the weather is great where I am, and most importantly for the people in Florida, we have season. So
Yeah.
right now, it's the beginning of my season where 40% of my patients come from the Northeast.
Right.
So I'm missing, this is a good tale for everybody, I'm missing a week of production in my practice along with my business partner to be here.
Yeah.
Yet we value this week
Right.
more than being
More than
home
that
producing because we know
Right.
what we're going to be able to glean from this is going to benefit us over the entire year.
Right, and there are people that say this all the time. I can't afford to go; it's going to cost too much. But really, this is an investment. You got to invest.
It is an investment.
And with the with any investment, you're expecting an ROI return, and this is exactly what you get when you come to.
Isn't that what you teach dentists? I mean, at the beginning of the year, they need to set aside certain numbers of days, certain events and fill the rest of their schedule around it.
Right.
And so, production goes down right after Christmas. We've been off for the holidays, but the fact of the matter is we can make it up over time.
Right.
So
Well, and also too, I mean, you come here, you were fantastic today. It was awesome. It's one of those things where you get a lot of new information, and if you're going to get any new information, you're going to get it here. But you keep the fire lit. You go back, and the fire within you is like, yes, it is great to be a dentist. It is great. There are so many possibilities and not so many obstacles, and you're surrounded by a great community of people.
The bar has been set very high here, too.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
So you got to bring your A game. You got to bring your A game. You got to bring your A
Well,
game.
speak to that because it's nerve-wracking. Speaking of, I mean, he's the best dentist in the world.
Oh my gosh.
Did you wear two underwears today?
I did not.
You
That's the one I
You know, but he changed it frequently.
in the middle of this program, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but it was nerve-wracking.
Thank you.
You did a fabulous
Thank you.
job.
I mean, I think that the whole key to me is talk about something that you know.
There you go.
And understanding, like, if you know more about what you're talking about than anybody else in the room, and the only person in the room who may know more about this than me is this guy right here.
Yeah.
And I know he's not going to scream out to me from the stage or from the audience, so
No,
I'm good there.
I'm sitting there watching you and reveling in it, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm loving it
Yeah.
because you're preaching what I believe
Right,
in as
and
well.
we're kind of the only two guys on
That's
the,
correct.
in the
We're the only two
Seattle
guys
Study
out there
Club
doing
circuit
it.
that talk about this
That's
stuff.
right.
And so talk about what you know, and don't say anything that's not true.
Yeah.
And have fun. Like, that's really the end. And so play to your strengths.
Right.
So I know my strength is coming up with some yucks, right, and trying to make people laugh. So that's what I did, and I was able to get my message across in that way.
did very well.
And
It was
broke.
entertaining. It was, I call it
I still have
education,
the
right?
best story in the history of
Edutainment.
the
It's
study
education and
It
entertainment.
was,
Only
yeah.
thing is, Kyle gave me a really nice shout out today, right? Kyle gave me
Yeah.
and Ramsey. You didn't.
No, you saved it for me.
I saved it for
I know
you.
you
You
gave
were
it to him. You
there.
gave it to Schroder. That's right.
You did get a good
That's right. You
shout
got
out.
the shout out.
And I was
okay, we're gonna
working
spread them
out.
out
This
evenly.
old man needs to kind of keep with it, man. I got to stay with you younger people. Oh, my
am I young
gosh.
again?
That's one of the.
Am I young again?
Younger than me.
By the end of the
Far
podcast,
younger
we'll
than
get you back to just
Far
starting.
younger
again.
than I. There's no question about it.
What would you say to somebody watching this that's never been to Symposium?
Book it for next year.
Look at
Come.
the next-
Book
Just
it for
come
next
and be
year.
here.
Mark out the week. Do it now. You've got a year to plan. You've got a year to save. Does it really matter where it is? Just
It'll be on the eastern
No, I don't think
part.
so.
You don't think
Funny
it's
thing
going to
is,
be on?
No, I don't think so.
So the big deal
And I'm
is
not
on the
privy
last party
I have no
of the
idea.
symposium, they do a big sort of unveil of where it is next year.
Right.
So
It's exciting.
kind of the last few days of the symposium, everyone's kind of trying to figure out where do you think it's going to be? Where do you think it's going to be?
And this is my business partner. Come on over. So look.
See, again,
Nick,
world's
doesn't
experts, just
does it
everywhere.
matter
Entertainment.
where it is?
No.
Does it inhibit you from
Yeah,
ever going?
I mean,
doesn't matter, right? We're
doesn't
still
matter.
going.
You
So
know.
block the week out.
Yeah.
Come.
Yeah, no,
Have a
it's,
great time.
It's something that's hard to make the initial decision to do it. It's just like a lot of things. You can overanalyze it, and you can kind of convince yourself that it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But once you convince yourself that it is the right thing to do, it'll be one of those deals where the entertainment value is so unbelievably great that you'll come back.
Yeah.
Okay? Unless Ramsey
How many
walks
people?
by another
How many
time
people do you know that it went to one symposium and then never
and
came
never
again?
came back?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, there are people here that this is their first symposium, but I'd
They're
be willing to
coming
bet you round those people
Oh,
up
yeah.
and you get a show of hands, they're all going to be back because
Yeah.
there's no show that's better.
There you go. Well, you heard it first.
There's no show that's better. Is it the best practices show is better?
Oh, you're so kind. You're a nice guy. You're a really nice guy.
My initials are
BK.
BS.
Oh.
Just remember that, okay?
These guys keep me on my toes. Well, you heard it first. These are the experts. If you haven't been, you got to come. So more from Seattle Study Club Symposium this week, the 25th anniversary. Thanks for tuning in. Add your comments to the feed. We'd love to hear from you. And keep watching the Best Practices show. We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, Kurt.